Well, thank you for staying with us. This is Firecrackers. We always get to take time to reflect on issues of national interest. But let's take you now live, crossover live to the United Kingdom, where a business intelligence consultant is standing by to speak with us. He joins us live via Zoom, Edwin Etefia. Thank you so much, Edwin, for joining us on the show tonight. A big situation we have here as EU countries. A number of them have or are considering a ban to flights from the UK, Italy, Netherlands, and Belgium. How are you receiving these news?
Thank you once again for having me around. It's actually still a developing story, just like you are actually hearing the news. We are also, catching up to see what is happening. The first instance is to look at that every government, has their own responsibility to protect their own citizens. And the other European countries are looking at the high spike of COVID-19, within the UK, and they are taking measures to make sure they actually protect their own citizens. So what we are actually experiencing here in the UK is that the COVID-19 virus have actually mutated into a new strain.
Right.
And from the information that we have at the moment, that the new strain of COVID-19 now actually transmit 70% in a higher rate than the previous one or the previous experience that people had. And there is a lot of concern. How does that affect the vaccine that have been on scene as well? And because of the spike itself, the government have actually put a lot of restriction in place. Like at the moment, you know that the United Kingdom, different cities have been categorized into four tiers. We have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. And these tiers are actually based on the high cases in different cities that are being categorized. So a lot is happening within a short time as the story is developing. The same way you're receiving the news, we are receiving the news at the same time.
Yeah, yes. Since, of course, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson has actually imposed stricter measures there to help curb the virus, what are the economic consequences of these restrictions?
If you want to judge it based on the last impact that COVID-19 had on businesses, both small business and large organizations as well, the impact is that businesses are going to suffer. That's the case. That's the situation here. Most businesses have closed, and the hospitality sector have really taken a hard hit, on COVID-19. But notwithstanding about the economic impact, the most important thing is the security of life. We understand the challenges that businesses are facing, but at the same time, life is actually more important than economic situation at this particular moment. And that is actually the main focus of the government.
And then we also hear that flights are really, there's a serious hike in flights. I mean, in Nigeria and, of course, all around the world. You're Nigerian. Are you coming over for Christmas, especially with this particular hike?
Well, I had planned to travel in January. So that is still a consideration. I'm still, looking at how the story would develop. I'm hopeful that by the time it comes to my time, to travel, that the restriction would be eased, and to allow me to travel. But I'm planning to travel this December.
And so it's going to be a locked down Christmas. How do you intend to spend the Christmas with your family with the restrictions?
Then the restriction in place is that that it depends on the category, which particular tier that your own city actually belongs to. If you take tier 4, for example, now, the restriction on tier 4 is that you can only go on Christmas Day. That's the only day you're allowed to go to visit someone, and you can't visit more than one person, and you're not allowed to sleep over. It's quite a challenging one for a lot of people who have been maybe away from home and then be working all year round, and they are hoping this is an opportunity to meet up with loved ones. And most people, the way the Prime Minister actually put it this way, that we should all cancel Christmas. And and
All right.
and judging from the cases that we have seen on ground, I think to forgo Christmas for just one particular year, it should be a sacrifice that we should all consider.
All right. I guess that's a good point and a good place to anchor our conversation tonight. Edwin Etefia, live for us from the United Kingdom, a business intelligence consultant. Would like to thank you so much for joining us from the UK.
Thank you for having me on.